I just want to give you a quick run through of what I want you to do today. So, you should have the Anthropocene worksheet in front of you. We filled part of it out on Friday to try to get you set up, but this is a refresher since you probably slept since then. So, first off, go to the Anthropocene assignment in Google Classroom. At Homer's, you'll have the worksheet, but everybody will be clicking on this. I know it looks like a weird website, but once you click on it, it'll pull up this slice of Earth. Now, the first thing that we need to do is figure out what a geologic epoch is. That's the first thing we have to define. So, by reading through this, we learn that epoch is a measure of geologic time. So, an epoch is a measure of geologic time based on fossil records. These are millions of years long. And you can always pause this video to copy this down and then restart it when you're ready to move on. The next thing that needs to happen is to do the click and learn about the 3 different geologic epochs and the major characteristics of each one. So I go back to my interactive, and down here it has where we have epochs. So epochs are defined by a distinct boundary. The last one began 66 million years ago. And down here I have 3 different. Now these are listed from most recent to earliest. So if we do the Anthropocene epoch, you can see it's this top layer of rock. And we have things like a washer or dryer, a television, a tire, a piano, a chair, a bottle. These are the things that we'll be finding in the geologic record, whereas the Holocene, we'll be finding things like giant sloths, and in the Pleistocene, we'll find woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers. So I want to start with the Pleistocene. Pleistocene starts with the Ice Ages and affected both of the hemispheres. It's characterized by Ice Age animals, Sid the sloth, saber-toothed tigers, and mammoths. So I go to my worksheet. I type in Pleistocene, and this is where I type about how this was the start of the Ice Ages in both hemispheres. I know I'm in the Pleistocene rock layer by fossils of saber-toothed tigers and mammoths, and other Ice Age animals. You can do further research if you want on things like giant sloths and other megafauna that were present during those days. Now, you are responsible for the Holocene, the epoch that we just did, as well as the Anthropocene, which is going to be right here. Now, I'm going to do the first impact for you, which means that you will have to do impacts 2, 3, and 4 will be extra credit. So, impact number 1, I'm just going to go with the first one to give you an example. So please follow along, pause the video and write this down. So the first impact, so we can see here that impacts can be impacted in many different ways. If you check the box, it'll show you what happened. So I click on atmosphere and it shows me a factory that has a smokestack. Then I click on the word atmosphere and it'll give me this information and several graphs. And so I read this paragraph. I see that has about greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide from fossil fuels, and nitrous oxide from fertilizers, and methane from agriculture, cattle, and landfills. And they say it's changing at a faster rate, and I can see that in the graph down here. So using 1950 as the start of the Anthropocene, I see that it's been increasing steadily since the Industrial Revolution and then takes off. It's been kind of increasing and then it takes off. Increasing slowly and then it takes off. So, go to my worksheet, atmosphere, and then question number 1. Describe how humans impact your describe how the human impact you selected affects the ecosystem. So, emissions of greenhouse gases are changing faster at any rate in geologic history. How else are they impacting? Oh, and it's leading to climate change. If you ever get a squiggle underneath, that means that you messed something up. So go ahead and correct it. All right. Number 2, summarize how some of the quantitative graph data that provide evidence of humans' impact on the ecosystem. Well, we saw on the graphs that there's an increase right at the beginning of the Anthropocene. Using 1950, when there was a lot of nuclear testing going on, that's how they decide 1950. But the Industrial Revolution really began in the 1800s, which is what you can see here. So, levels of CO2, nitrous oxide, and methane increase rapidly with the start of the I want to change that to steadily with the start of the Industrial Revolution. Then they increase rapidly at 1950. Right? Describe the specific types of evidence people should look for in their own ecosystem to determine whether humans are changing the local environment. Well, this is atmosphere, so I can look outside, right? We should look for cars and factories. Climate of our region could change. this may mean warmer weather and less snow. Oh no. So the last one, how do you think this impact will change over the next 100 years? Make predictions based off the evidence and data you have seen so far. Well, it doesn't show any signs of stopping, so the greenhouse gases will continue to increase, and climate change will continue to get worse. And that's how you do impact number 1. Now, when you turn this in, I should see all of this in your on your sheet, and then you should do choose an impact number 2, impact number 3, and if you feel like you have time, this is extra credit. Now, after you finish this, with the time you have left in class, because this should take you 15 minutes, that leaves you about, if you watch this video, that leaves you about 25 minutes left in class. I want everyone to go to ClassLink. Inside of ClassLink, there's an option for IXL. I'm going to sign in. And then for me, it's it's different because I have the teacher. So I want you to, up here, there's an option for science. Okay. Oh, well, it's under you. For you, it's automatically in the learning. So once you click on science, you'll see that I have starred several things. I've given you the order which you should do them in. The first thing I want you to do is X1, then X2, followed by Y1. And with any extra time, there's some other skills that I want you to practice, which are down here in the HHs, because they'll just help you estimate and make some of those weird questions on TCAP easier. All right, everyone, that's today. I hope to see you tomorrow. Remember, work harder and be good to each other.